He changed the way we think, but his life was filled with suffering. The story of Socrates. Imagine a world where asking questions is considered more dangerous than lying. That's the world Socrates lived in, and that's the world he chose to die in. He left no books. He didn't write down a single line of his teachings. Yet, ironically, almost the entire way modern humans think about truth, morality, and the meaning of life has its roots in one barefoot old man who liked to ask questions on the streets of Athens. His name was Socrates, and his life was a painful paradox. 5th century BC Athens is often called the most advanced city of its time. Democracy was born here. Art, politics, and philosophy flourished. But there was one major problem. Athenians loved knowledge, as long as it didn't disrupt their comfort. Socrates didn't come as a nobleman. He wasn't an elegant orator. He wasn't dressed in fancy clothes. He was simply an old man, plain-faced, often shabby-looking, wandering the marketplace, stopping anyone and asking, "What is justice? What is virtue? What is truth?" The question sounds simple, but the answer is devastating. Socrates didn't teach like a teacher, he exposed them. He would approach a famous politician, compliment him, and then ask questions. At first, the politician seemed intelligent. But the more Socrates asked questions, the more it became clear that the man didn't really know what he claimed to know. This is what is now known as the Socratic method, continuously asking questions without giving answers, until the other person realizes their own stupidity. And herein lies the problem. No one likes to be told they're stupid, especially in public. One day, the oracle at Delphi said, "There is no man wiser than Socrates." Socrates was confused. He felt he knew nothing. So he traveled around Athens, meeting scholars, poets, and politicians. And he discovered something terrifying. They thought they knew, but they didn't. That's where Socrates arrived at his legendary conclusion. I am wiser than they, because I know that I don't know. It's a simple sentence, but it's dangerous, because it implies that most people live under the illusion of knowledge. At first, Socrates was considered strange, then annoying, then dangerous. He was accused of corrupting the minds of young people, disrespecting the Athenian gods, introducing new ideas that threatened the city's order. In fact, he did only one thing: invite people to think. But to those in power, critical thinking is a virus. Finally, Socrates was put on trial. In the courtroom, Socrates was given the opportunity to defend himself. And this is where everyone expected him to plead, weep, humble himself. But Socrates did the opposite. He said, calmly, "I will not stop seeking the truth, even if I have to die 1,000 times. He refused to beg for sympathy. He refused to betray his conscience, even when the jury offered him the option of a lighter sentence if he remained silent. He refused. And the verdict was delivered, the death penalty. His students panicked. They devised an escape plan. Socrates could escape. He could live. But Socrates said, "If I break the law for my own sake, how am I any different from those who are unjust?" He chose to stay. He chose to drink poison hemlock. Not because he wanted to die, but because he refused to live without truth. In prison, Socrates continued to discuss, still asking questions, still thinking. As the poison took effect, his legs went numb, his breathing slowed. His final words were not lamentations, not regrets. He said calmly, "Crito, we owe Asclepius a chicken. Don't forget to pay it." Strange sentence, but it has deep meaning. Asclepius was the god of healing. For Socrates, death is healing from a disease called stupidity and the injustice of life. The twist Athens never realized. Athens thought they had silenced Socrates. Really? They immortalized him. Because his students Plato, then Aristotle, spread his ideas throughout the world. Western philosophy was born from his death. Science, ethics, logic, all grew from seeds watered by his blood. Socrates lost in court, but he won in history. And the bitterest twist is this. The city that killed Socrates is now remembered only for Socrates. He died without books, without a position, without wealth. Yet to this day, we still live inside his questions. And perhaps, without realizing it, we are still afraid to do the one thing he fought and died for. Dare to think honestly.